Hey, what's up gamers? This is Telno for Downward Thrust, and today we gotta talk about Battlefield 5, and this is a pretty important video, so I hope you watch it to the end. There is so much hate out there for Battlefield 5 that it blows my mind right now. So I put out my review a few days ago, after playing the game, extensively, and what I wanted to do with my review was separate the game from the conflict. Before the game came out, there was a tremendous amount of controversies from EA and Battlefield 5. Namely, white man, some of the stuff with women, gender discrimination, the bullshit authenticity story they tried to pile out. There was also some of the stuff with the trailer, and of course EA saying if you don't want the game, just simply don't buy it. We don't care about your money. Was pretty much the gist of it. Those controversies were actually some of the biggest conflicts of the entire year, and a lot of people out there probably were thinking about some of them when they were considering buying Battlefield 5. However, the thing is, when reviewing a game, it's really important, in my opinion, at least in terms of someone who actually critiques video games, to isolate the game from the conflict, like I said. I basically set out to critique Battlefield 5 away from all the controversy. I wanted to boot up the game, experience it as a product of entertainment, look at the pros, look at the cons, and just look at it holistically as a video game. I think it would have been a very big disservice to EA, DICE, and just the general industry as a whole if I started the video by saying, you know what, Battlefield 5 is really cool, but you shouldn't buy it because they don't want you to buy it. That statement is something that a rash individual would probably do. My job as a creator is to make people aware of the situations that are going on, but let them decide if that impacts their own buying decision, which is exactly why I laid those issues out at the start of the video, but did not take them into consideration when I evaluated Battlefield 5 as a video game, because those issues have nothing to do with the quality of the game when someone goes out and purchases it. Those issues may turn you off so much that you don't want to buy the game, and that's your own prerogative. You can absolutely do that. But that doesn't have anything to do with a Battlefield 5 review. That's simply an ancillary effect that may compel you not to pick up the game, even though the game actually might be freaking amazing. But my job was to speak those issues out and then wipe them to the side and review Battlefield 5 for what it is, and that is a video game. Unfortunately, what happened after I put out my review is that I got insta-downvoted by thousands of people because, well, I supported the idea of picking up Battlefield 5 because it's a good video game. Let me first start off by saying that I understand those who would come on in my video and downvote it because, well, I said Battlefield 5 was a good game and I recommended it. I don't agree with the logic behind it, but I can understand someone in such an emotional state can definitely feel that way and react as such. But here's the thing, that's not fair to the game. A review is supposed to encompass everything that's inside the game, not everything that's outside the game. Yeah, EA did some absolutely stupid stuff leading up to Battlefield 5, but does that, or should that, impact the way we look at a game critically? I would argue absolutely not, and I was actually really proud of my video because I washed away those issues really quickly and then jumped into looking at the game in terms of, a video game, not an issue, not a controversy, not a conflict, not an emotional state where I was offended by what EA said, or I was taken aback by some of the controversies leading up to the game. That's not fair to the game. I think what outlets should have done is make videos highlighting those issues, which is what I did, and then present a review which also addresses those issues, but then focuses on critiquing the game critically. And once again, that's what I did, and I feel kind of sad that there's a lot of people out there that called me names, that told me to go kill myself, that told me I'm a shill, I'm a sellout, the video was sponsored, simply because I enjoyed Battlefield 5, and I was able to detach myself from the issues surrounding it that have nothing to do with the game. Isn't that something we should be striving for in this industry? If you don't want to support a game and you don't want to buy a game because you were offended by something or you didn't like what a company did prior to its release, then don't buy the game. Don't hate on a game and insult people and basically bastardize the game itself for issues that the game has no control over. What you're basically doing is calling out a game and condemning it to an early graveyard simply because the publishing side did some nasty stuff, which, by the way, DICE probably had nothing to do with. I mean, the only thing that DICE really had to do with this is that they had the white man issue, which I actually misspoke in my review. I called it a bug. It was unclear if it was a bug or if it was actually intentional, but long story short, 90% of the conflicts were started and ended by EA, and EA did not make the game. They are the publisher. They fund the game. They funded DICE to make the game. Is it right to demonize a game for the problems associated with its partner? Is it right to basically castrate a game, grab it by the balls and squeeze them simply because you don't like what EA did? That's not right at all. What is right is that you exercise your right not to buy the game. But coming onto my video, calling me a piece of shit, and basically telling everyone in the comment section not to support the game, when in fact the reasons that you don't want to support the game have nothing to do with the game in the first place, is just stupid. Don't you want reviewers out there to take a look critically at the game by itself and detach themselves away from any emotional states where they might be biased? That's exactly what I did, and lo and behold, I got hated for it. I mean, call me crazy. Do you really want reviewers out there to be so biased and judgmental because they were affected in one way or another that they literally affect their own reviews because of this emotional state? Hell no! That would be a complete and utter disservice to the game in question, which would completely undermine the point of a review. So let me shoot down right now the obvious counter argument here, which is someone saying, well, hey, EA did all this stuff. I'm not going to buy the game. You should definitely protest against the game. That's all fine and dandy. That's your opinion. But that's not an opinion that should be relevant within the video of a review. You see what I'm saying? It's just two different things here. Your argument's just in the wrong place. While it may be valid, it has no bearing in this conversation. So as a creator, I have to admit I am deeply saddened at the fact that, masses, thousands of people could come together in one unified message and basically just write off a game before even taking a look critically at that game. That's exactly what happened on my video and some of the other videos I saw. You got a problem with how EA operates? Don't buy the game. But what you have to understand is that has nothing to do with a review. A review is supposed to look critically at the game in question. Wipe away all bias. Wipe away all judgment. Deep dive into the systems of the game. Are they good? Are they bad? Talk about what works and talk about what doesn't. And then at the end, let people decide what's important to them by using your review with their own judgments, with their own preconceptions of the game, with their own emotions, with their own buying decisions. That's what a review is supposed to do. It's not supposed to be like, oh, screw EA, don't buy this game, even though it's amazing. How immature is that? If we want to foster and encourage a good review culture on YouTube, then we got to make sure to separate ourselves from conflict when we're looking at a game. It's got to be game-centric. The review has to be 100% about the game, and let people take that review and make their own decisions. So while I am disappointed in the community as a whole, I do understand the reasons why someone would do it, but I think it's important, as human beings, that we practice things that improve ourselves, right? And I think this is one of the occasions where I can fundamentally and confidently say we need to be better. I don't want to say that everyone was commenting in that fashion because there were thousands of people who were in support of the video. They really liked me just focusing on the video itself, or at least the video game itself. So if you were one of those people who commented, I really appreciate it. You helped spread the love of what I was talking about, because Battlefield 5 is actually a really great game. It's just unfortunate that the cloud, this dark, cloudy storm of conflicts was surrounding the game for so long and up until its release. Still, of course, making people wary about buying the game, which is why reviews exist, right? Did those conflicts cause the game to be bad? Or did the game actually rise above the controversies? If I just let my emotions take the lead and I was very subjective in the way I looked at Battlefield 5 because I was pissed off at what EA did, then I wouldn't be able to deliver that message. I wouldn't be able to answer that question for you guys. And by the way, my review was not the only video on the chopping block. I saw a lot of BF5 reviews that got hammered by people in the comments section because they literally just said that the game was good, which once again is the point of a review. If you're looking for someone who's going to scream at the top of their lungs and let their emotions drive their judgment, then this is not the channel for you. But if you're looking for someone who will be able to isolate video games and separate their emotions from the actual critique, then this is a channel for you. And I 100% stand by my video, and I think it's a great addition to the catalog of reviews out there for Battlefield 5. It's very difficult to make a YouTube video that everyone likes, but I think it's in our best interest to pursue YouTube videos today that do a good job, like I said, isolating subjects and not letting other conflicts and controversies and hysteria events affect our judgment in delivering proper content. So in case I wasn't crystal clear, let me make sure to say this one more time. You should absolutely in this industry call out conflicts, but you should not let those conflicts invade the critique of an objective review. That's all I'm saying. Let the reviewer make the review, and then you take that review, along with everything that's happened, all the conflict and controversy, everything you want to take into consideration, and you combine that, and then you make your decision on whether you want to buy that game or not. You leave those issues out of the reviews. So if you guys would leave me a comment down below, I'd like to know your opinion on the practice of separating one's emotions from critiquing a game, and let me know how important you guys feel it is as consumers, as you obviously want very objective information from a review. These comments will help me gauge, of course, the reception of this video, and you can also thumbs it up if you're in support of my arguments as well. That'd be awesome. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you in our next video. Peace, love, and happiness. Until then.